Okay, folks, today I am down in this the bilge of this 42-foot Bristol. It was just recently purchased, and today I want to go over and I want to show you guys specifically what I'm looking for. Now, this is two Ford Lehman engines, and you guys all know that this happened to be my favorite engines, but I really want to go over the components because whether Harold wants to do America's Great Loop or he wants to go cruising, you know, there should be a few things if I own the boat that I would be looking at it, and that's what I really want to share today and really point these things out, especially for you guys, you first-time boaters that don't know a whole lot about the systems and stuff like that. And thank you, Mike. I got Michael's behind the camera today, and Harold's suffering from foot surgery, so he's not down here with us, but he's going to do the camera here, and we're just going to kind of go through each one of these components and show you guys what these components are and what's really important, because as you know, keeping the boat cool is the most important thing for these engines right here. And so we're going to go through the entire cooling system and and this is just my opinion of what I would be replacing and looking at if I was, you know, if I had purchased a boat like this, which I did purchase this almost exact same style of boat, same year. And then these are the same things that I did immediately after purchasing my own vessel. So, okay. So, Mike, you want to step up here? First thing I want to show you guys, we'll use this engine a little prettier than this one, is this right here. This component right here is the water pump. And what I'd be looking for on this is this weep hole right here. And I'd be looking for any signs of orangeness or anything like that, and any type of fluid coming out of here, because this right here runs the antifreeze. This is like our, what do you call it? Like the holding tank for the for your antifreeze, and this is where you add antifreeze. And then this is the water pump that circulates all of the antifreeze around the engine, and that's what keeps it cool. But also another important part, go ahead and shut it off. Another important part is this raw water pump right here. And you can tell that this is, oops, I got a little something on my finger. This is not the original raw water pump, so that's a good sign right here. This right here, these are all things that I might be a little bit concerned about this stuff right here. And Harold should just pull this off. If he doesn't know when the last time the impellers were changed, he may want to pull this off right here. And then you put impellers on here. And this is the raw water cooling pump. And the most important thing I'd be looking at for this right here is right here through these little weep holes right here. That little weep hole right here. And then there's one down here also. And if I saw anything there where I saw water weeping or anything like that, that would be a concern. And more than likely, I think they make a rebuild kit for this one. And it doesn't really matter what engine you have, whether it's a Cummins, Cat, Yanmar. This raw water pump is probably one of the most important things, and you want to watch these weep holes. They're going to be on every single engine, and you want to make sure that you don't see any fluid dripping out of them or any sign of fluid dripping out of them, and that they're in good operating order. And if they're not, then they would need to be replaced. But on this boat, I would just make sure that I have all my bolts tightened here. My hose clamps are all good. And I would be good with that right there. You know, this pump looks good to me. I wouldn't be calling Brian over to American Diesel asking him how much one of these pumps cost. And this is the raw water pump that brings the ocean water into the boat. Now we're gonna go past that right now. So Mike just brought up a good point. So you see that this is the through hull right here. This is his main through hull for his main engine, and it comes up to this strainer right here. Comes back down and then comes into the boat right here and then over to this raw water pump. A lot of people will double hose clamp this. So this is something Harold could do, is add another hose clamp here and then a couple of hose clamps right there. And then I think he would be good. You know, that's something that you could be determined. Now, once we get past here, this is different right here. This again is raw water coming through this pump right here, circulating inside here. So these are where your impeller's at. Comes out of here, goes through here, and this is your engine oil cooler. And I don't care what engine you have, whether you have a Cat, Cummins, every engine's going to have one of these. And this oil cooler right here, when I'm looking at this, there's a couple things that I personally don't like. See how that's loose like that? That means it's not grounded properly. And then if there's paint on the inside of here, it's not grounded properly, because this needs to be sanded, grounded, and then there shouldn't be any slop like this right here. But this cooler is, I can almost tell this is not original, but it is very, very old. And these should be replaced, you know, and again, you go to your manual, call American Diesel, whoever, but let's say 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 hours. It all depends on what engine you're running, stuff like that. But because these are so old, these are two things that I would change immediately. I would not run the boat very long without changing this oil cooler right here. So then let's keep following right here. So now we're going to run down this line right here, and we come up to here, and this is our main cooler right here. This is, so the water has come out of the ocean, and it's come through that oil cooler, then it comes to here, and then it'll come over here to this. This is our transmission cooler, and I can tell that that's not original equipment. This one's almost installed correctly. If that was sanded underneath there, so that this was raw and that the engines could touch each other, then I know that that was installed correctly. But again, this looks old to me, so I'm replacing this, and this is the transmission cooler. And I only know this because I know my Lehmans a little bit. If this cooler goes, it can take the transmission out. So this would be very high on my priority list as far as the cooling system. And then you have, of course, your exhaust elbow right here, and that's where the water comes back out. The raw water that comes in from the ocean comes all the way through the system, and then it comes out here. And so again, see how these are all double hose clamps, and then goes into the muffler and then gets ejected out to the side of the boat. These are all hose clamps I would be checking and systems I would be looking at and cleaning. Now this is another thing, which this has an inspection port right here, and you just pull this bolt right here. So he'll have to go to, call American Diesel, and he'll get a new gasket for this right here. And then there's zincs right here. There'll be a couple zincs on this thing, which it's that over there. And we'll just order the new zincs, or I probably have them on Southern Estate. And then we'll pull these apart, check the zincs, and then just look and give them a good inspection. And we'll get advice from Brian over at American Diesel on if we need to do anything with these coolers right here. So the three main coolers that were for the raw water side of the boat are the engine oil cooler right here. This is our main cooler, and then that's our transmission cooler. We will be on this boat right here replacing the transmission cooler and the oil cooler. And this cooler, we will take recommendations from American Diesel on what we need to do with it. For you guys that have turbos, this would be like running your after coolers or whatever. These all need to be pulled and cleaned. And then Harold will never, probably in the history or the time that he owns the boat, will never have to worry about his engines and the cooling system in his engines as long as he maintains them properly. Another thing then, and this is me personally, I'm buying new ones of these because I've had some engines fail with me over a stupid radiator cap. So these are $8.99 at American Diesel. So it's just something that I'm replacing. So now my cooling system, I've done everything except like the thermostat and stuff like that. I'm replacing all of the external parts that I need to, which are the two coolers and that this thermostat, right? Or not the thermostat, the what is it called? Yeah, the radiator cap is what it's called right here. That's the three main things that I'm replacing on these ones. So I really just wanted to show you that, and what I'm not recommending it. It's just something that I do every single time, and my boats don't break down. You know, I run them, and I don't have that kind of problems, any of those type of problems when it comes to the cooling system. The other day you saw us priming this right here. So this is another thing that what I would recommend for Harold to do is just go through and make sure that all of the screws, all of the bolts, all of the hose clamps, and we just take a hose clamp wrench and just go through each one of these. This is our fuel pump right here. This is our main fuel pump. If you needed to prime his system, which we had to do it the other day, this is, you just flick that valve right there, and that primes his fuel system. These are his fuel filters. These are the primary ones on the engine. And then he has these ray cores for each engine right here. So he has a ray core and these. And he will zero time. I think this boat was just serviced, so all of the oil has been changed. And I would hope that all of the filters have been changed. And if they have been, and Harold can verify that, then we need to put dates on here. This is just something I like to do. I put dates on here and my engine hours. That way nobody's guessing. They don't have to go find a log. If that log gets lost or it gets stolen or weather gets to it or something like that, at least right here I know the date that this filter was changed, and I know the engine hours that this oil was changed. Same thing on my Radiator. I want to know the same thing on my Radiator. Me, again, that's just a personal preference, and I prefer to do that. If you look in Southern Estate, every one of these are tagged and changed. Because this is a Ford Lehman, this pump right here is a special pump. And these are on the older ones. I would say like 1985. There was a transition year there. Somebody in the comments can help me out with that. 84, 85, somewhere around there. And these are the 120s, but the 135s, you don't have this. This pump right here, there's a little drop valve right here that drops oil out. And then this one right here is for the height of my fuel, or the oil. Fill. Yeah, nope, the fill is right here. So this is where I would fill it. This is where I would check the level of the oil. Does that make sense? So as long as the oil was coming out right here, and then I drop my oil with this little bolt right here. And so that's got to be serviced. And again, that should be a tag on here. Now, if you call, again, I'm not going to get into all the maintenance on this, but they recommended you check them every 40 hours. And then some of these engines, what happens is diesel fuel comes through here and then it gets back into here. So if you see this rising up, then you want to, you'll change the oil more frequently. If it's like on Southern Estate, I don't have any back fuel coming into here. So I do mine like every 100. I pretty much change it whenever, no, about twice between oil changes. I'll change this one right here. And that's really on the 120. That's really all you need to do. But again, just routine maintenance. I hope you guys found this video useful. You know, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Share it with your friends. And, you know, it was awesome that Harold let us come down here and take a video and show you guys exactly what I would be looking for in this engine room. And this engine room actually looks pretty clean.